Hey there, this is your pal Pally, and welcome back to Git Er Raid. Ever have that annoying fly in your room that you just can't manage to swat? Well, here you get to fire 2 cannons as your fly swatter, and man does it feel satisfying. This is the Galakras encounter, the 5th boss in Siege. Technically you fight a number of mini-bosses and adds, and then finally get to take down the dragon. This fight is a 2 tank and 2 to 3 heal encounter. The fight has few changes from PTR, so if you followed that video, many of my descriptions will be unchanged. So Galakras is actually the dragon sitting in the air for most of this encounter. Adds will stream down in between these towers and you'll need to handle them. On top of that, you also need to care for the friendly NPCs here that help you take down the adds. The goal is to get teams on top of both towers and fire these cannons at Galakras to get her down and finally finish off the encounter. The encounter goes like this. You have some waves of adds, then the left tower gets opened. Soon after, a mini-boss comes down along with a demolisher. Before you tackle the tower, you need to kill off the demolisher, otherwise it keeps knocking into the tower and doing damage to you as you climb. Once you kill the mini-boss on top of the tower, you can fire the cannon. But it's useless to do that now as you need to handle the right side tower first. Another mini-boss will come down the middle, and once again, you DPS him down along with the demolisher when the right tower gets opened. Send a team to take care of the guy on top there, and then Galakras can be brought down. We'll talk more about what happens when Galakras comes down later, but it's basically a tank and spank, lust and burn type piece of the encounter, with only one simple mechanic to deal with. What we need to talk about mainly is all the types of adds that can come down, and then the mini-bosses. None of them have a ton of abilities, but you'll certainly want to prioritize some above others, and pay attention to certain abilities. So first up, one of the more dangerous adds is called the Bone Crushers. They will charge someone and do an ability called Fracture, which does a ton of damage. Not only will they do this to your raid members, but they will attack your friendly NPCs. You must use some sort of stun or death grip or knockback that will stop them from doing this, otherwise you'll likely lose your buddy. And if you lose your buddy, encounter's over. The grunts do very little and can be just called cannon fodder, but watch out for one of them in particular called a flag bearer. He periodically throws down a war banner and it will greatly buff him and his friends. The banner itself needs to be killed quickly. It only takes a shot or 2 on the banner to kill it. These flame slingers are annoying as the fire arrows they put on the ground were just constantly everywhere. After that, the shaman are a big priority. They drop healing tide totems and will chain heal all of the other adds. Keep them locked down as much as you can. Lastly, there are some proto-jakes that come down and do a flame breath. Keep them faced away and just kill them off. So now we can talk about the mini-bosses. The first one you'll encounter is Korgra the Snake. She does some poison attacks that stack on the tank, drops some poison clouds on the ground, and has some adds that will hurt your raid if their back is to them. Just stay out of the poison cloud and DPS her and her adds down quickly. One note is that when she gets low in health, she will turn into a snake and chain cast Poison Bolt Volley, so try to finish her up as you push her to change into that snake. Next up, if you go into the tower, at the top is Krugruk. He does an arcing smash that can knock you off the tower. Just try to be near him and step right or left as need be. Down below, the Thranok mini-boss will spawn. The thing to watch out for here is the Crusher ability. He will yank everyone to him and then smash the ground around him, likely killing anyone caught there. Lastly, on top of the right tower is an archer-type guy called Dargrin, who will knock you off with arrows. Like the other tower guy, just stay close to this boss and look out for the ground effects telegraphing where his arrows are going. Kill all these mini-bosses and shoot both of the cannons, and down Galakras comes. In this phase, Galakras will beat on your tanks, pulse some AoE, and then fire off the most dangerous mechanic of the fight, Flames of Galakrond. If you remember Blood Princes from ICC, it's the same kind of flame orb mechanic as was there. Basically, the orb fixates on someone and chases them. For every person that gets hit by the orb as it travels, it will do less damage once it explodes on the fixated person. Since this ability comes out frequently, you want to reduce this damage as much as possible. I'll touch on how we handled this in a bit, but that's all for mechanics. Galakras gains a stacking buff throughout this whole phase, so it's a kill or be killed situation for your raid. Let's talk strategy. There isn't too much to go over. Essentially you need a tower team and a ground team. In the beginning, everyone is focused on killing adds quickly. Once the first demolisher dies, you send your tower team up to take that left side tower. We sent a simple 5-man group with a tank, heal, and 3 DPS. Melee versus range doesn't matter too much, as you are in a confined space for the most part. All you have to do is dodge the boss's knockoff attack, and you win. Once the mini-boss is dead on top of the first tower, you kill off all of the adds on the tower, and that finally gains you control of the cannon. And here's a critical piece we missed for a while. You need to hop in the cannon now and blast all of the mini-drakes out of the sky. They are hurting your raid with some fireball damage, and you can't just leave them up forever. So make sure your cannon guys spend some time clearing the skies. Once the tower team is back down, you'll be killing off the third mini-boss by now, the one that does the Crusher ability. Then the second demolisher should be out. Of course, once that dies, you send your tower team up the right tower and kill everything there. Now here's the critical timing part to work out. You'll need to send someone over to the left tower to man that cannon so you can bring the boss down. So around the time of the adds on the tower dying, we'd call for that person to head on up. But you really need to bring the boss down when you have just a few adds left up in the middle. It sucks hardcore to have a shaman drop a healing tide totem on the boss and heal him up for a bajillion health. So the team down below should call for the transition when adds are almost dead or right before another wave is spawning. Once that call comes, the cannon guys just need to hit the boss close together, and then boom, he comes down. This last phase is rough on healing and such. You want to call for Lust and get as much DPS in as you can. Do raid CDs as the damage gets out of hand, and then you have to work out how to handle Flames of Galakras. The basic premise we went with was to have the melee behind the boss, and the range lined up in a row a bit further back. Once the flame orb came out, whomever it targeted would run back towards the dock here and let people soak and get in the way of the orb as much as possible. Once it exploded, everyone would reset to their original positions. At least that was the theory. In the end, we had a near kill here on my Hunters group, and likewise for my Paladins group. Just try to survive and get through this as fast as possible. Presumably this part will become much easier with more gear. So in sum, it seems to come down to controlling and DPSing adds, hopping on top of towers, and then surviving the final encounter with the big old dragon. Thanks for watching, and please comment, like, and or subscribe to the video if you found it helpful, and have a good one.